Hello, beautiful, amazing world, and you, wonderful, wonderful individual. Today, I would like to speak about weaving and working life spirit into our etheric body. Now, of course, this is kind of hard to explain, but our etheric body that is reflected within our physical mineral being is our secretion system, our glandular system. When you really think about it for a moment, our whole being is kind of sweating. Your liver is sweating, your inner organs are sweating, secreting. And your glands are sweat. Every time you feel something, it reflects in your inner being secreting. It's not that you secrete because it is not that you feel because you secrete. It is you secrete because you feel. Of course, something has to relate that feeling into secreting in a sense. Now, working life spirit into this requires us actually to stay conscious in our emotions. Easier said than done, right? Because they can be quite intense and in turmoil and almost like a hurricane. But it is our emotions. So when we sit with our ego, our I am, sitting here with my emotions consciously, without judging, without becoming angry. Of course, that can happen, really. But one should not beat oneself up too much, because we are still human beings with karma, with inner, let's just say, challenges to overcome and to heal, because we sit conscious with it. We work upon it, we get to understand why we are feeling this way, and you are slowly but surely starting to wake up to the feeling of life, the feeling of everything surrounding you, and that might help or hinder your emotional growth and understanding of it. Of course, to be able to work life spirit into your etheric body, we also need to have mastered our thinking, our astral being, manas, spirit self, consciously within our thoughts and consciously within our emotions, until we work ourselves all the way into our body till we become conscious within our will. There is no end to work, practice, and dedication to the cause. And the more we get to feel for ourselves what is meant by these things, we get to master them further. Of course, we do need to pick up somewhere the concepts and the proper symbols just at first, because we need to first read some read a concept to understand what this is, right? So the more we get to fill in our emotions and our understandings for esoteric, occult, and also, when I say occult, I just mean hidden. The occult is the most hidden of all the forces that is. As I said, we have 7 soul moods, and the moon, which is the deepest of the soul moods, is occultism, the hidden. And that is not where our focus should be, though, because you can quickly lose yourself in all of that. But it is more about actually staying conscious, balanced, and able to operate practically within the outer world, socially, emotionally, thoughtfully, and with moral and dignity. And the more we meditate, practice, talk to the higher hierarchy, they kind of always are chatting here with us, and ask them anything and they will give you pretty straightforward answers. So, it's all about truly grabbing a hold onto that, right? Based on your heart, based on my heart, and the soul and spiritual development, I will connect to beings parallel to that. So if we are rascals and scoundrels, we will meet those beings. If we have intentions of purity is the best word, and of good, moral, loving, grateful emotions and state of being, that is where the higher hierarchy resides. They reside within our emotions, but it is within our emotions that helps us grow, develop, and unfold our human being. And our ego, which is making us human beings stand upright, have a straight spine in relation to any other animal, really. You see, the animal group ego is outside of their body, and the physical animal is an extension, in a sense, of that group ego of that animal species. We human beings have that ego in our body, individualized, you see. So just to use a little grotesque example is the outer physical animal is kind of like the fingernail on us human beings. It belongs to the group soul body of that is why every animal species look the same. I mean, every species. That means every chimpanzee look more or less the same with minor differences. Every elephants look the same. The elephant ego, the chimpanzee ego. You get my drift here. Human beings are different because our ego allows us to sit in the center of our being, going outwards in a sense. Not constantly living by impulses and instincts, but we truly can become conscious of our own being and direct ourselves towards what is good, true, and beautiful. We need to lift ourselves up enough in understanding and in spiritual development to be able to do so. And that is where conscious, working manas into our astral being, allowing us to master our thinking and our imagination, working life spirit or buddhi into our etheric body, allowing for inspiration through emotion. That means when you observe outwards and you do not use dead, abstract and shadow images of what you have seen. You know, when you see a rock, you believe you have seen that rock before and hence you are passing it by the next time. But every single time you see that rock, it's different. You are different every time you see that rock. And that is what allows a living feeling towards everything around you. You see, you can never put your foot in the same stream twice. And it's the same with our life. Every single thing is in. So becoming aware and alive to these things. Very handy indeed. And to take responsibility for our own emotions. For if we project it outwards, we deny ourselves that reflection. Better to go inwards and sit within our own ruminations because with perseverance it will transform. But we transform it through our conscious effort of wanting to understand. You see? But wanting to understand is in freedom. So you can choose or deny it. And that is the beautiful path of this. It is all about a conscious, consistent choice, dedication in freedom, and it really is about a choice. And that is the sacrifice one makes, because there are so many things that otherwise want to drag us anywhere. But since you are under your own ego, your I am, your center, your core, which by the way has nothing to do with egotism. Egotism is just someone has become aware of their ego and then becomes obsessed with it, more or less, you see? That is the difference. But your ego should never be removed, because it is your developmental consciousness, you see? You see, the East and West are different in that way, but we are meant to unite both the East and the West. So we see where the east comes from, we see where the west comes from, and it is about balancing the Luciferic and Ahrimanic to reach the Christ in the equilibrium. In the middle. For in the middle conscious human being is where the Christ resides. You imagine a scale with the two arms. In the middle there, where the two arms meet, is the fulcrum of the scale. There is but one fulcrum. That is where the Christ is. The balance between the soft and the hard, the frivolous and the ascetic. I mentioned it many, many times, but they are very distinct, this being. Just like a young child and an old man in the middle there. Soft, hard, in the middle there. Frivolity, asceticism, in the middle. Always in the middle. Once we start oscillating is when we are starting to oscillate. You see, if you go too much there, it has to be balanced back that way. That is just how it is, and that is how karma is created, more or less. So it is about holding that stable, conscious, middle way in morality, love, warmth. And you know if it is warm, and you know if a human being is trying to, well, want something from you, or if they truly wish good for you. Because intentions can more or less be sniffed out easily. So it is all about staying conscious of, first and foremost, our own intentions. So they are pure. Because as long as we are conscious of our intentions, you can either take the temptation and keep on being tempted by egotistic and self-serving impulses, or, well, full ever sacrificing, where you just lose yourself in the sacrifice. But that is not the purpose either. Full asceticism. We are meant to participate practically in this world as best as we can as individuals. And every individual has their own role to play in all of this beautiful, beautiful journey we are on. And we are but on one of many lifetimes, which is why we should not only focus on this lifetime alone, but truly, truly stretch as far back as possible to see where we came from. And the further back the more you lose your individualized ego into the group ego, the group soul. And moving forward, where you kind of are doing the same, but you are actually conscious as an individual growing into the group soul again, consciously, as individuals, in freedom, in cooperation. It's different, because you have gained the ego, the self-consciousness, the consciousness of self, the consciousness of you. And it is a gift. It is a grace that we are become self-aware like that. And it is all about staying in balance, not becoming self-obsessed, not becoming fully self-serving. You get my drift there. It is a balance. It is a moderation. And that is what we truly are. Practicing, cultivating, growing. And also to constantly ask the higher beings for assistance and help will always kick us in the butt a little if we are going beyond ourselves more than we should, you know. So I trust my higher siblings. Seriously, they are utter amazing. They are geniuses, literally, because they went through the human stage long ago. The angelic, the archangelic, and the archai. So I think I will leave you with this today. My Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, higher hierarchy, ancient masters of old, ancestors from every incarnation, bless, protect, guide, and love you on your unique, beautiful journey to self-consciousness, awareness, mastery, and also connecting practically and spiritually into the world again. Truly becoming acquainted with what we human beings are. And anthroposophy and esoteric science is the perfect way to do it. It is kind of tailored for today, really. It really is about becoming curious, wondrous about it. And have a longing to know. I must know about the human being, about our development, about karma, about grace, about our past. Not that pragmatic history, which is so abstract because it is spoken from one side, when every single human being part of that history saw things differently from their perspective. And only when we can truly see things objectively for what truly happened, which you can do through the Akashic record, that means you truly awaken your clairvoyant abilities to be able to survey history as best as possible. And that is fully possible. It is all about having that alive, awake feeling of inspiration, where you are inspired but are still conscious and feeling who is helping you, and so on and so forth. If it has an ego, a consciousness, and I am, they are higher beings. If they are scattered, if they are abstract, if they are materialistic, they are of the earth beings. So, I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You beautiful, beautiful human being, you. May you be blessed. Goodbye.